What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Anthony Joshua and Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson had some choice words for Anthony Joshua, some surprising words. He said this about Anthony Joshua. He says, I don't think he's a paper champion. I just think he's a big guy, and it's hard to fight being that big. It's very difficult being that big and having to fight a smaller guy. That guy could learn some stuff. He could be taught some more stuff, he says. Wow. Okay. So Mike Tyson basically states that Anthony Joshua's too big, and it's hard to fight being that big. Now, this is one thing that I've been saying for the last few years, ever since 2017, when I seen Anthony Joshua gas the fuck out in 6 rounds with Vladimir Klitschko. When he gave Vladimir Klitschko the business in round 5, Vladimir Klitschko came right back in round 6 and dropped him. Okay, so and then after that, he was out of breath, he was out of energy, he couldn't move like that. He was wobbling all over the place because he had too much muscle mass. Okay, and that was the warning. And I think the disaster came June of 2019 when he fought Andy Ruiz and got hurt the same way. But guess what? He couldn't recover. Why? Because he had too much muscle mass. And if you are that big, it's hard for you to fight. It might look impressive, or it might appear like you this big Billy badass, but at the end of the day, if you can't get your shots off, what's the point? Look at guys. Let me give you a perfect example. Look at Tony Bellew. Tony Bellew looks like he ain't never went to the gym a day in his life, right? The way he's built. Look at Tyson Fury, by that matter. Tyson Fury works out all the time. He's just fucking bad built. They don't look like fucking bodybuilders. They're not. They're boxers. Counterpunch. So you don't have to have a physique like that. In fact, you have to have fluidity. That's why you don't want to work, I want to have 0% body fat. No, you don't. Not being a boxer, you don't. You need the fat in between your muscle to give you the flexibility that you need. You don't want to be all tight like a robot. That's why Andy Ruiz was one of those guys that after he won those belts from Anthony Joshua, those were one of the slandering terms that he used, robot, because, of a Joshua's set movement when he does throw combinations a lot of times because of the muscle mass, because he's putting too much on. And let me tell you how I know Mike Tyson is telling the truth. When he came back in December, did he have all that shit? No. Was he still muscular to a certain degree? Sure. But he wasn't anywhere like he was in June. That man had lost, 15 pounds? So he had to get that 15 pounds of muscle to know and to see what he had to do. And it paid off. And it paid off like a mother sucker. Let me give you a prime example, okay, a personal one. With me, I remember being about 250. And I went to the gym all the time. I worked out. I had a broad chest, and I stayed in the gym. I did a lot of cardio. But as I went to the track, I always had a good friend of mine. Shout out to Tim Smith, good guy. He would always smoke me. I mean, he would smoke me from probably a car length, or a hurdle length. And I would and I'm a track runner, okay? So I grew up running track. But I was slender. I was tall and I was slender, right? Kind of like Wilder. I was a long, lanky guy. And I was quick, okay? Well, bottom line, I ended up getting stressed out for some stupid stuff and lost about 35 pounds. Lost it. Gone. Done. Came back to the track. Then I was beating my buddy Tim. And it just lets you know that the extra muscle mass can be an anchor for you and for your flexibility and your mobility and all that good stuff. You're not as versatile. You're not as mobile. But with that, it's like it's you feel light as a feather. Okay, and that's the whole point. And Mike Tyson was trying to get him. No, Mike Tyson is naturally built like that. And this is my counterpunch. And this is the reason I feel Anthony Joshua wants muscle mass like that. Anthony Joshua, he's already came out and said he looks up to 2 particular fighters. 1, Mike Tyson, 2, Canelo Alvarez. right? And I could tell with the combinations with Canelo and the way he does fight, kind of like Mike. If you look at the uppercuts for Joshua, he likes to fight on the inside. The only problem is he's 6'6". Mike Tyson's 5'10". And it's almost like I think he has a smaller guy's mindset or mentality, and he wants to fight like a shorter guy because he's seen a shorter guy and idolized the shorter guy and looked up to this shorter guy throw combinations. But the only reason Mike threw those combinations because he had to get inside. He had to get inside throwing those punches because he was much shorter. Anthony Joshua doesn't need that. Anthony Joshua needs to use his height, someone like Deontay Wilder does, stand tall and deliver his combinations from the outside. Okay? Yeah, it's good to have an inside game, but when you're in there with a shorter fighter, understand you're giving up that distance, okay? And you're giving up your advantages also by fighting at his level. Okay, so it was a good thing for Mike. Mike doesn't pull any punches. I'm glad he did say that. I definitely 100% agree. You guys tell me what you think of Mike Tyson speaking about Anthony Joshua and his status as a champion. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.